Toastmaster Mohammadi. Toastmaster Mohammadi, may I request to tell the project objective of Madam Toastmaster Sunita? Toastmaster Mohammadi.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Today, my target speaker, Madam Toastmaster Sunita, is attempting the uh, Pathways Innovative Planning Level 1 speech. The title of speech is Thank You, and the objective of the speech is to have an evaluation and feedback on the speech. The purpose is present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply to the second speech which she is going to attempt in the next session. And also receive the feedback from the evaluator. The timing for the timing for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to my speaker. Best of luck, and George, you can start.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammadi.
Sorry, go ahead.
Toastmaster Sunita, she will let me introduce our project speaker 2. She is club vice president PR. She is the face of our club. Being new to the member, new to the club, but she is like a bullet train, taking her project quickly one by one. She is extensively using tools like Canva, MS Project, and Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. Please join me. Welcome, Madam Toastmaster Sunita Julius. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Sunita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hemant, Toastmaster Mohammadi, and a very great speech to you, Nakul, as well. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. That's a quote by David Steinhull Rast. According to the Oxford Dictionary in English, the words thank you, it's a polite expression used when acknowledging a gift, a compliment, and a service. How often do we use the words thank you? There are many instances where we lack using the words thank you. Firstly, in our workplace, if our colleague helps us out with a project, a report, are we thankful? The appreciation shows that without their help, we would not have been able to complete the task. So thank God for those affable colleagues that we have, so approachable. When a line manager thanks his team, his subordinates as a whole, that is great. However, if he takes the time to thank them individually, not every day, every now and then, that would make a big difference to the colleagues, the subordinates, self-confidence, and to their work, that appreciation. Secondly, at home, who do we have at home? Our spouse, children, our parents, our grandparents, people who help in the house, the nanny. When someone makes us a cup of tea, are we grateful? Do we say thank you? If they did not make the tea for us, we would have to make it ourselves. If a meal has been cooked for us, are we grateful? Do we say thank you? We can add an extra compliment. If the meal is good, we say, wow, the food today is so good. That makes an extra difference in that person's life. Thirdly, in society, when we go to our regular barista to get a cup of coffee, the person is standing there for hours making coffee, and they're probably thinking to themselves, what a mundane job. Day in and day out, I do the same thing. It makes no difference to anybody. However, if we go and say thank you, and if we are a regular there, we can compliment them on the coffee we received the previous day and say that coffee was a beautiful start to my mornings. That person will think, wow, even though this seems like a mundane job, it makes a difference to that person and their day. So they will be feeling great about their job. Thank you are two words. They're small, but make a big difference. In some other languages, thank you is actually just one word. In Arabic, it's shukran. In Hindi, it's shukriya. In Tamil, it's nandri. So let's use these words or the word liberally. Doesn't take much of our vocabulary, neither does it take much of our time, but it makes an enormous effect when it's used. Before I go, I would like to leave you with a poem that I wrote. Thank you are two words, small but powerful, to have a positive impact on all who receive these words for doing something great or small. Take time to pause and say thank you to those people who are around you today, who help you get through this journey called life. Use the words. It shows thankfulness for the gift you have received that day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sunita. Now we will have 30 seconds for all the members and guests to close eye and say thank you. You can use message box to say thank you if you have learned new idea, new thought. And we are thankful to our guests from Al-Hada Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Hussein. We are thankful to Area 47 Director Sindhu Suresh. And we are thankful to our guests also, Phil Sanmugam, who took time to explore what happens in Toastmasters.
Time's up.
May I request Toastmaster Satish, may I request a timer of the meeting, Toastmaster Satish, to inform us timing of the speaker.
Thank you, Hemant. We had affable speakers today who provided us on topics of affable nature. That was fantastic. But unfortunately, both the speakers, they could not able to meet the timeline. Nakul, he over-exceeded the timeline by almost 25 seconds. And Sunita, she could not, she has to meet the time at least for 4 minutes, 30 seconds. She fell short of just 2 seconds. So that's the timer's report of today. And we, both the speakers are not eligible for voting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satish. Now, we have a special guest. For him, we are thankful because he worked as a fertilizer, organic fertilizer, to grow our club. When we were struggling, I remember when we were in the meeting number 110, we were struggling with members who can do a strong evaluation. At that time, we got this organic fertilizer who would attend club meeting regularly, and all the members would love to have him as an evaluator. He is one of winner at division level, and he received all 4 like at division level, we have a contest, international speech contest, table topic contest, evaluation contest, humorous contest, and he was a winner in all the 4 categories. He is a software in a Toastmaster for area, club, division growth. We can call him a Google of Toastmasters. So please join me, welcome DTM Hashim Haleem to give us an education session on how to make an evaluation which will energize a member. Toast DTM Hashim Haleem. DTM Hashim Haleem.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Hemant. Good morning, everyone. Here at Petrofac Toastmasters. It's been a while since I've been here, but it's so happy to see you all and looking forward to enjoying this meeting with you all. Thank you, Hemant, for that introduction. I'm definitely sure it's the first time I've been called an organic fertilizer. That's for sure. Yeah, fair enough. Fertilizer is something that helps grow plants, so I'm more than happy to be that fertilizer for the club if I can. Software is the topic of the morning, and it's something that I'm very passionate about because I happen to sell software for a living. So yeah, I do use a couple of softwares. Some of the softwares which Hemant mentioned here today are really useful in terms of your work and in terms of being able to use technology to your advantage. And evaluation, as you see in Toastmasters, is one such software or application. It's one application of Toastmasters that gives you the feedback that you need to help you progress on your journey of improving your communication. And out of this software, you're definitely going to get a few tools that you can add to your repertoire of tools that you have in terms of your use of the English language, your analytical skills, and your presentation skills. So let's look at a few key things that we can focus on in terms of evaluation. Now, before I start, I want to give you a sort of like a forewarning here, right? In my talk, you're not going to hear evaluation is the feedback of champions. You hear that from everybody else in the district, so you're not going to hear that from me. Second, another thing you're not going to hear from me today is the sandwich method. I'm not a big fan of sandwiches. I prefer shawarmas or biryani, but not sandwiches. So no sandwich method in my evaluation presentation as well. So let me open up my slides. I hope I have permission to share. Yeah, I do. Just give me a second. Entire screen. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen. Somebody could just unmute and shout out. I can't see everybody here now.
Yes.
Perfect, lovely. Thank you. Okay, so first things first, let's look at what is looked at when we decide if an evaluation is good, better, or the best. So a sneak peek at the judges sheet would tell you that it's divided into 4 parts. The first part is the analytical quality, which is your analysis of that speech. That accounts for 40% of the marks. The second part is the recommendations that you give the speaker. And remember, these recommendations are on how that speaker can improve the speech which has been delivered. It's not about, in general, it's not anything out of the context of that particular speech. The third is the technique that you use to present your evaluation, which is 15%. Last is a summary of what you have just said, which accounts for 15% of the marks in a contest. What I want you to focus on today are the first 2 parts, which is 40% on analysis and 30% on recommendations, because that's the bulk of your speech, of your evaluation. All right, so we're going to talk today about the 3 P's of evaluation. So the first one is preparation, second is presentation, and the third is going to be packaging of your evaluation. So let's first take a look at preparation. So typically, once a speech is delivered in your club meeting or in a contest, you've got some time in which you can prepare notes about that particular speech. Even while the speaker is presenting, you will be preparing notes about that speech, right? So the idea is, at this moment, you observe closely every single thing that happens on stage. Every single thing. How did the speaker start his speech, his or her speech? What were their opening remarks? Were they confident when they started? Were they loud when they started? Was it like a meek, weak starting? that sort of picked up as the project went along, or were they ready and in full gusto right at the beginning? Every single thing that happens on stage, were they moving, were their hands moving, where there was proper eye contact established, were there questions to the audience, are you able to hear me? Anything and everything that the speaker does on stage is meant to be evaluated. Now, if it's a normal club meeting and a person is doing a project from the Pathways manuals, they have a specific purpose statement. So it's a good idea to have that purpose statement with you, read through it, see if you understand the project. Also, every project has a set of notes with it. Go through those, understand what the speaker or the presenter is required to do. Be clear in your mind what you're going to evaluate, because the project speaker has spent some hours, days, weeks, whatever it may be, preparing this. So you need to be at the top of your game to be able to provide good feedback. So make sure you understand the project thoroughly. To help you out, there is a guide at the 3rd page of that evaluation sheet, which tells you how it is in delivery, eye contact, body language, vocal variety, all of those things, so that you can have, you know, something to work with, a template sort of that you can use in order to mark each aspect of that person's speech. You can also prepare your own templates, of course. There's something known as a COD template. It's not very commonly used. COD stands for content, organization, and delivery. So you can mark the speaker in terms of what were the parts of the speech that I liked in content, what did I think did not work, how was the organization, how was the transition, did it have all the necessary parts, did it conclude well, etc. You can use that. You can also go with what I saw, what I heard, what I felt. See, in the end, you have to understand that the evaluation is not it's not a PhD thesis that you're going to present at the end of this. The University of Sharjah is not going to give you a degree after you give your evaluation. No, no, no. What all this is your opinion on that speech. So what is your opinion based on? That's what these points help you with. Frame your opinion on each of these points, what you liked, what you thought worked really well, why you think it worked well, and then go on to what you think could be better in the speech. Forget about any templates, just go with every single thing that you've learned in your Toastmasters program. The content of the speech, the title of the speech, how was the opening, did it grab your attention, how was the body of the speech divided, did it have a couple of stories or a couple of anecdotes, was there a proper transition from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, was there a call to action at the end, was there a strong emphatic conclusion, how was the person's body language, eye contact, hand gestures, hand movements, facial expressions, every single thing that the person does on stage. Let me give you an example of one area contest a couple of years ago, and there was this young lady who was presenting a speech about her cousins and about how she felt inferiority complex, or how she felt inferior. It was all about that. She had this act of keeping on doing her, throwing her hair to the side, because she used to gesture to one side quite often. So she had long curly hair, so it always used to come up front, and then she used to do this to push it back. I gave a suggestion that maybe she could use either a hairband or a clip, to keep the hair in place. That was something different from what anybody else had said, but she was very appreciative of it and said that's the first time anybody's ever suggested that to me. You could make a difference. People may not observe these kind of things, but it's good if you can find it and you can let the speaker know that, yeah, okay, you have a tendency to do this. Maybe changing something would help you out in your projects moving forward. So preparation, don't limit yourself. It's every single thing that happens on stage during the duration of that speech. Make notes about it. All right, so next up is presentation. So you have your extensive notes, like a project that you're working on. You did your business requirements gathering. You've got 75 pages of notes ready. You only have 3 minutes to present it in. So obviously you cannot share all the information that you've captured so far. You need to organize and prioritize your points. What are the main points which are going to help that speaker out? And win you the contest, of course, but help that speaker out is your priority. So pick the main points that you feel. My suggestion for you would be that you have maybe 5 or 6 points in positives and maybe 2 or maximum 3 recommendations. Right? That's what you can fit into your 3 minutes of speech. So you can be lavish with your observations. If you can club them together, it's good. Now, when you are talking about positives, for example, if you want to say that that person had, your gestures were appropriate, or your gestures were very nice, or you had good body language. Remember, that's not an analysis. That's just a statement. Your body language was good is just a statement. Where was it good? How was it effective? So when you had that emotion of joy when you won that contest and your fists were balled up like this, I absolutely loved it. I thought it expressed that moment very clearly. So give the specific example of why you thought this particular point is good. Or if you're talking about vocal variety, don't say your vocal variety was good. Say, okay, when you were assuming when you were in the character of your grandmother, the way you made your voice lower and squeaky, and you showed and expressed the emotion of that grandmother, I thought that was beautiful. So be very specific about what you're saying. That adds value to your evaluation, not blanket statements. Start and finish positively, definitely, because the purpose of your evaluation in the end is to help that speaker improve. So you want to motivate them. That's the purpose of your evaluation. So start positively and end also emphatically, positively motivating that speaker. Be honest in your opinion. This is not a sugar coating contest. The person who's speaking is not a KG student or a preschooler. They are normal adults. They can take criticism. So be honest in your opinion. Sugar coating works good on donuts, not in evaluation speeches, right? So give them the points that would help them improve. However, give it in a nice and polite manner, such that they will accept your criticism and not reject or go behind and not come back to speak again. That's the last thing you want. You want that speaker to come back. Be thankful for your evaluation and come back. All right. Don't forget to summarize. This is something common that happens in contests, that you run out of time. So watch your time. Make sure you have enough time to summarize. I will give you a tip in terms of time. When you're going for a contest or you are during your regular meeting speeches, meeting evaluations, make sure that your analysis is completed before the green. If you've seen the green light, that means you're gone too far, right? So you want to cut it short immediately, stop what you're doing and go on to your recommendations. So ideally, your recommendations should have started before the green light. That gives you enough time to cover 2 or 3 recommendations. By the time you see the yellow amber light, it's time for you to start your wrap up. So you want to wind up as soon as possible, hit your summary so that you have enough time left at the end to end with a bang on statement to close out your evaluation, right? So remember, analysis finishes before the green, recommendations are done by the time you see the amber or yellow light, and you want to close out with the red. Okay. So practice timing yourself, practice during your club meetings. That keeps you in good stead for your final evaluation, contest. All right, packaging your evaluation. This could be the difference between a winning evaluation and a good evaluation. It's just like your Apple iPhone has pretty much the same features as a Samsung or any other Chinese phone you would find, perhaps even less features. However, it's packaged so brilliantly, so beautifully, so delicately that you absolutely want to have it. It gives you an affable feeling when you see that particular phone itself, that you just want to buy it. That's what the difference that packaging makes as far as your evaluation goes. Now remember, all the evaluators are in a contest, all the evaluators are evaluating the same speech. Likely everyone has similar points because of course it was the same speech and all are competent evaluators, right? So the judges are likely to hear exactly the same thing again and again. So it's how you package your evaluation that could make a difference. Simple ways to stand out in terms of packaging your evaluation: start with something different. Start with your experience of that core message or something on that in that speech that connected with you, and a short 2-line anecdote or maybe a quotation related to that which has not been said so far. So that could be a way to start different. Right? Be innovative in your approach. Think what could you do with the points that you have made. Now there are many things that you can present it differently in. One is, for example, if the speech was about, in the story that the speaker had shared with you, it was about his journey as a cricket player in his youth, maybe a cricket match or football, something sports like that, some kind of sports. You can use terms related to that sport. So for example, you could say, in the first half of your speech, you covered this. In the second half of my evaluation, I'm going to cover this. Your vocal, the way you expressed your emotions in that scene with the grandmother, that was a definite goal for me. I think that was a tiebreaker. Right? So use terms related to the theme of the speech that can pepper your speech, that can pepper your evaluation and make it very attractive. Be specific in your suggestions. I've already covered this before. if you're going to talk about improving vocal variety, for example, show how you would have done it. Or in that scene, if you're going to express sadness in that scene, have your eyes droop, have your fists closed, lower your tone, be very specific about what you would have done differently. Or when the scene in your speech where you got that trophy, I would have loved if you had expressed it nicely. Yes, I am the winner, something like that. So you go out and show how you would have done it. That will definitely help your evaluation stand out. Use specific examples from the speech. Do not repeat the speech. Everyone's already heard it, but be specific about which part of the speech you are talking about, paraphrasing it correctly so that it connects very clearly. See if you can make your speech, your evaluation talk humorous. It is possible. Make jokes about any situation. A good way to do it is self-deprecating yourself. So maybe you could put yourself into that scene. Oh, I love that scene when you invited all your friends to your birthday party. It was so vivid. It was so descriptive. I felt like I was there myself. I could just taste that chocolate cake. Something like that. Try to put yourself into the scene. Try to make it vivid, clear. During your club evaluations, you can definitely try to use the theme of the meeting, which is softwares for today, the location you're in. And now we are on Zoom, so we can only zoom through definitely. But if you're in a hall, you could use the name of that hall, etc. The speaker's name. Try to put this all into your talk in a funny way or in a humorous way, so that it adds not only to the flavor of your speech, your speech stands out, plus it shows your creativity, right? And you stand out in the eyes of the judges that, there's a quick with his wits, infuses humor, very present. So these are all points that would help you package your evaluation better. If you ever thought and wondered, okay, I've seen this piece now, what could I possibly say? Is that something that's ever happened to you? I've faced this situation. I've heard really good speakers, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, what could I give? The thing to remember is that in the end, it's your opinion. Okay, so this is not about what can be better from a theoretical point of view. This is about what you would have done differently. So you could say, I thought, your intro was good, but I think it could have been more emphatic. So maybe give suggestions on how you think that introduction could have been much stronger. And if you would be surprised to find that many people still don't connect the opening and the closing, or their closing might not be that strong. Many times you will observe that due to a shortage of time, people end their speech abruptly. So the conclusion could be weak. So watch out for these kind of basics. It would still be there, right? More than one message. A lot of times people deviate from sticking to one message. Speeches are stronger if you stick to one message. The thing you have to remember is keep the main thing the main thing. A lot of times you don't keep the main thing as the main thing, and you go off in various tangents, and that dilutes the strength of your message. So having a specific message is something you could watch out for. Call to action. You've preached, you've told your stories, and you've directly gone to your conclusion. But what is in there that we as the audience can change? That should be the part of the speech. So watch out if there is a call to action or an implementation. Sometimes speakers forget to give examples of what changes they made in their life after giving the suggestion to change. So watch out for these kind of things. Pauses, humor, characters in the speech. Were the characters developed nicely? Did they have a distinct voice or a position on stage or a distinct expression that made them stand out? So these kind of things would help to make that character more memorable. So watch out for these kind of things. Using the stage effectively with the modern media that we have, which is online meetings, it's difficult to use the stage much. However, you could still position at 2-3 places within that screen frame that you have. So whether that has been used effectively or not is something that definitely you could watch out for. All right, now we've talked about how the speech can improve. How can you improve as an evaluator? First thing, watch other evaluators. Today's meeting, for example, we've had 2 speakers. Nobody is stopping you from making your own notes on those speeches. And every time you make notes, you can compare it with the designated evaluator to see how well you've done. Were your points the same, or did you see something that they did not? Fair enough. If you have some suggestions of improvement, you can definitely share it with the speaker. They would be more than happy to get it from you. But this is a practice for you. And if you do this at every meeting, you're improving your evaluation technique every single meeting that you have. So this is something that you definitely can do. So try to evaluate by yourself and watch the other evaluators when they deliver their evaluation speeches. Once you have evaluated a speech, ask for feedback from your mentors, from the seniors in your group, from the other members of your club. What could you have done better as an evaluator? When your VP education calls out, okay, I need 3 evaluators for next week's meeting, raise your hand. Don't lose out on an opportunity to speak. Every meeting, try to get an opportunity to speak, whether it's an evaluator, table topics, whatever it may be, but every meeting try to get, because nothing takes you further than stage time, stage time, stage time. So never shy away from an opportunity to speak. Invite Hashim for, okay, I've cut that out. You don't have to invite me for dinner. That's just a joke. I'm free for lunch as well, so whichever is comfortable for you. No, I'm just kidding. Never discourage a speaker. It's about, in the end, it was always about helping that speaker improve. That's it. You're not here to become a star. You're here to create a star, right? So never discourage a speaker. If they come back next time and they deliver a better speech, who are they going to be thankful to? They're going to be thankful to you. And just as our previous speaker said, it's not joy that makes us thankful. It's gratitude that makes us joyful, right? Just as our previous speaker said. So never discourage a speaker. Help them, motivate them, make sure that they come back and they will be thankful to you for all they have done. So in a nutshell, this is what I have to share about evaluation. In case you don't remember a thing I said, which quite often happens, remember this. Aim not to win, but to try and help make a better speaker. And with that, you make yourself a better evaluator. So that's the set of slides that I have to share with you today. So if you have any questions, very quickly, we can take those.
Nandi, thank you. Sukran, Sukriya. And Hashim, we will take 3 questions from our members.
Sure.
Because like you were organic fertilizer for us, like we have a plant which they want to grow and they want to become champion at District 105. So only 3 questions we'll take from members. They can raise their hand, a request to raise.
Just like our previous speakers, I kept the trend and I overshot time myself. So yeah.
You can unmute and ask question to DTM Hashim.
I have one question. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Hashim, I was just going through some champion evaluation speeches and some Toastmasters thing. In that, one of those evaluator was suggesting that you try to bring the speaker in the highlight by bringing the people in the forum or something that, okay, he hasn't, like, for example, Mr. X has done an excellent speech. I know him this way. So how effectively is that we, instead of targeting a particular speaker or something, we introduce to as a part of the forum to catch an attention of everybody, so that everybody is attentive to the speakers or the evaluators when he's speaking. So this was one thing which I would, whether it's a good practice to bring everybody into the, it's like attention mode, that I am going to evaluate the speaker, how to be attentive, how to make it effective, because that was one of the champion who was recommending that this may be the effective strategy to catch the attention of the audience.
So I'm not sure I understood your question completely, Mohammed, but let me just put it this way. Now, your evaluation in the end is a speech. It's a 3-minute speech. So everything that applies to a normal speech applies to your evaluation also. And the first thing we always say is what? Strong opening, right? So at the beginning of your evaluation itself, if you can get the audience attention and have them listening to you, that's definitely good for you. So because now they are paying attention to what you're saying, so your evaluation becomes more effective. So you can have some techniques at the beginning of your evaluation to grab people's attentions. So this could be anything. This could be either showcasing the speaker, like you mentioned, for example, it could be asking a question to the audience, or it could be just your thoughts on what the speech was about. Maybe a story from your life which that speech triggered a memory of. So anything that grabs the attention of the audience right at the beginning is always good for the speech. However, one thing I would like to, I'm not sure whether it was part of what you mentioned, is there is no point in talking about the history of that speaker. That is not relevant for your evaluation. Now, your speaker may be world champion, maybe district champion, may have given 1,000 speeches, maybe 4 times DTM. That does not matter, because you are evaluating that speech, only that particular speech. So you're going to give him tips that will help him improve that particular speech. Okay, even the recommendations that you give. So for example, you cannot recommend to somebody, okay, you need to have a stronger voice, so maybe you should do vocal exercises for the next 3 months and then come back. Or, your body language seems very rigid, maybe you should go to the gym. We're not going to give these kind of recommendations. We're going to recommend things that they can apply to that speech, come back the next week and deliver it better, right? That's the idea. So particular to that speech, and yes, definitely do try to grab the audience attention with your opening remarks. That would help you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you, Hisham. I just want to say hi to you. Maybe you may be knowing me. And when I saw that you were not having that beard and all that time.
Nice.
Yeah. A simple question to you. This is regarding all the speakers all the time not performing well. You know that every speaker, even though they all are veteran speakers, some particular day they fail. So as an evaluator, how we can encourage? We know that that particular day he might have gone down a little bit. So how we will encourage him that him or her to come back with better speeches next time?
Okay. So yeah, a common thing that happens is that if depending upon the time of your meeting or the day it has been, sometimes we will have a lack of energy, when they present their speeches. It's not as good as it could have been. So that's the tone that you would take, that you won't say, okay, today your vocal variety was weak. That's not what you would say. I think you can do better in your vocal variety, because we know you are capable of it. So I think today perhaps it did not shine as much as possible. I think if you had more energy, it would have been better. So paraphrasing what you're going to say in such a way that it's not demotivating would help you to still keep that speaker on track and not have them come back the next week and perform better. So instead of saying weak, maybe you could say could have been better. And if you know that he's an accomplished speaker, you could say you are capable of it. We know that you are capable of it, or I know that you are capable of it. That would it's about how you're going to phrase your comment. I think that would help. Hope that answers your question, Jacob.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Hashim, I have a question, if you'll take it.
Of course I will.
Yes.
Hashim, usually when we evaluate a speaker, there is a halo effect. And as an objective, I find it very difficult to be an objective evaluator, to evaluate the speaker on that particular speech alone. Mm-hmm. Because the experiences you've had listening to the speaker in the past, everything tends to creep into the current evaluation. As an educational specialist on evaluation, what would you suggest to avoid that halo effect?
So the halo effect is probably something that will always be there as part of your observations. So the way you mask that is actually to be very clear in your notes, the notes that you take down. See, now you would have taken down maybe 10 points for observations and maybe 5 or 6 recommendations. You circle the ones that you want to present, and you consciously make an effort to remove any prejudgments that you have and specifically focus on the points that you want to highlight. So if you limit it to 5 observations and 3, then you get to choose what you want to say. So be very specific and make a conscious effort to remove any pre-knowledge that you have of the person, any expectations that you had from the person, or anything that, or even if sometimes it happens that you're evaluating a speech that you've heard before. You actually know that speech. You know what he did the previous time, right? So you're not going to say, okay, the last time I heard you do this, you did this. I think that would be better. You're going to make a conscious effort to remove that from your evaluation by being clear in your notes and highlighting exactly what you want to say. See, your presentation, your evaluation is also, you're thinking about how you're going to present it, what you're going to do different, what you're going to do to make it attractive. So this is where that filtration happens. It's not something that you can avoid in the way you think, because you are going to think in that way. but you will filter it in the way you present. That's a technique you can use to remove not only the halo effect, but also your own judgment at times. Sometimes you don't agree with the story, you don't agree with the moral, or you don't agree with the direction. We are not evaluating that. We are evaluating the direction that the speaker has taken and what he wants to say. It's his opinion, his or her opinion. So all of these would get cut out in when you decide what amongst your notes you're going to actually speak about. I hope that was helpful, Shane.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Hashim. Today you decoded the variables, class, procedure, functions which are involved in an evaluation. And we believe strongly your language would help to give a better evaluation, energizing evaluation in our club. Thank you. Shukran, Shukriya.
Thank you.
And
thank you,
now
Toastmaster
we
Hemant.
enter. Thank you, Hashim. Now we enter into the much awaiting second dish of our meeting, which we call table topic session, where guests jump in and they share their story. To take this session, we have one explorer who is calm, cool, and confident. He uses Google Map extensively because he loves to explore new places. Please join me. Welcome not DTM, Toastmaster Jacob John. Table topic session.
Good morning, everyone. Every Toastmaster meeting is a fun-filled experience. So now we are going to enjoy that fun-filled time slot. I hope every one of you are able to hear me properly. If not, please raise your hand. Is it okay?
Yes, we can hear you properly.
Yeah. So relax. That is the first thing I would like to tell you. Next 20 minutes, we are going to enjoy. I want to make this session very enjoyable session. So how we are going to do? This is a table topic session. Then we call it as impromptu speech, the backbone of every Toastmaster meeting. And I want everyone to come up and speak, even though our time slot is very limited. So how you are going to talk for this 2 minutes? Let me tell you a tip. I will give you some question in line with today's theme that I will tell you immediately. So after hearing your question, don't immediately jump into the answer. Think for 5 seconds. Whatever comes to your mind, that you can deliver as a small speech. Please ensure that you completely say a sentence. If you would like to say a sentence, complete sentence you say. Don't imagine that others will know rest of the thing. So complete sentence speech for 2 minutes, you can do the maximum. The time basically it is 1 minute as a minimum, 1.5 minutes the middle time, and the maximum is 2 minutes. But I think you have 30 seconds grace period also. Now, let us make this as a funny environment. You can imagine the scenario when it comes to you, how you will express in a funny way. You can take it from the personal life or an imaginative way. People are two types. One is real life people and one is imaginative people. Let us see who are imaginative and who are real life people. So let me tell you about a software. Many of you may be knowing about that. This is called Life 360. Before telling what is Life 360, I would like to call this software, it's my own name, which is called Track-O-Me. The name is Track-O-Me. I will be referring Track-O-Me in my questions to you. So this Track-O-Me will track you wherever you go and give the message where you are to whoever looking for where your movements. It can be your spouse, it can be your boss, or it can be someone, your parent or whoever wanted to track you. So my question is all about Track-O-Me. So I would like everyone come up with their imaginations or real life scenario and speak for 2 minutes. Let me show you the questions to you. I want everyone to come up, but only few people will get chance to talk. And interesting prizes, I think, will be there. Toastmaster, our president, will be giving you that one at the end. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So look at here, Track-O-Me. I told you what this software will do. It will track you, okay, wherever you go, and your whoever wanted to track you will help. This software will help. So who is the first speaker? Please give your name, switch on your microphone and video, and come. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 7 questions here, or you can tell me from the Track-O-Me. There are which number from the Track-O-Me you would like to take. For O, there is no number. For Track and Me, there are numbers. So tell me which number you want to take and who wanted to take.
I would like to take
Please, your name, please.
Mohammadi.
Toastmaster Muhammadi, which number would you like to take from this?
7.
Number 7. Let's go to number 7. Toastmaster Muhammadi, are you in favor of Track-O-Me software for your family? If yes, why? If no, why? Toastmaster Muhammadi, Track-O-Me, are you in favor of Track-O-Me software for your family? If yes, why? If no, why?
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. We are equally tracked with various social medias, our friends, families. So as a personal family, I will strongly recommend that there should be no trackometer. Why our personal lives are being tracked so closely with everything what we do? We go to Sharanga Bhojanshala. If we have put a sync on our phone, we are tracked. And at the end of the month, we will publish all the sync records and publish and tell you that where you have been, how many miles you are there. Why? All the people in the world should know. And these data are stored for years and years. And it may be used for some ethical purpose, non-ethical purpose. And sometimes we may get into trouble. I'd like to quote one example. And generally, we have a pilgrimage place in Iraq, which we frequently visit. In the month of December 2018, we visited because it is a very pious place for us. But at the back of the mind, I was always worried that next year my son is going for higher studies and our passports and all visas are due. And we are going to apply for Schengen visa. So we were always worried that because of that country's image, whether our things will be processing will be happening slower or what. So this fear of things is not at all recommended. So I'd strongly suggest that we should not go for this. If required, only for our small kids and everything, we can have funds or tracking to a certain extent. So I would strongly suggest that let's stop this so much of tracking of our personal things and let's live happily as we were 10 years before. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Who is the next taker? Okay, thank you. Who is the next speaker?
Myself, Kudus.
Hi, Kudus. Welcome. Let me show the screen. Kudus, now we have 1, 2, 4, and 4, 5, and 6. Which is your favorite number?
2.
Number 2. Wow. Let's go to number 2. Your spouse wants to install Track-O-Me in your mobile. You don't want to do that. How can you convince your spouse? Kudos, your spouse wants to install Track-O-Me in your mobile. You don't want to do that. How can you convince your spouse?
Thank you, Toastmaster John. This is a real question, and the real questions needs imagination and very much presence. So it does not affect the people whom you are targeting, whom you are questioning. So the really is a matter of faith and understanding. If spouse asks to install the tracker, there may be a chance or maybe a misunderstanding or maybe something he also want to learn where you are enjoying and what she can even learn better. So these may, you don't take this as a very negative aspect of the life. Maybe think of something positivity and try to convince what I am doing may not be suitable to you, or it may hurt you in a way or other. Better to be positive, better to be talk front and try to see what we can and how I mean, one another can help each other. These the track softwares and these things may not help our real life. These are fancy ideas, may work, may not work, or may be very destructive in our nature. So avoid it. Better to be on a positive side. Don't try to think that something is bad or something you may be hiding. If anything you have it, be come positive. Let's discuss and try to resolve it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster. That was a really interesting one. I never thought like that way. Okay, let us see. Who is the next taker?
Preetu has raised his hand.
So which one has gone now? He has taken number
2 also gone.
2 also gone. Okay, fine. Now we have 1, 4, 5, and 6.
4.
Number 4. Who is this?
Pritu.
Toastmaster Pritu. Your question. Here is your question. Your boss wants to install Tracomi in your mobile.
This is 3. You are showing 3.
Okay, sorry.
No, you should show 4.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's 1 minute. I think, yeah. Your boss wants to install Tracomi in your mobile. You are forced to agree with this. You agree to do this. Okay, you agree to do this. Why? Here, I will repeat the question. Your boss wants to install Tracomi in your mobile. You are forced to agree with this. However, you agree to do this. Why?
Jacob, I don't agree to do this. Change my question.
No, this is the question comes to you. You need to say that how you will take it. It's an imaginative, hypothetical question. How come you agree? There is no other way.
Okay. Good morning to you all. I said the question is to agree with my boss, but certainly I don't want to agree with that. I have some negative about this Tracomi, but still, if I have to agree with that, I will certainly request my boss. He also agrees with me, because then only the two-way communication can happen. Without the two-way communication, faith and belief in between me and my boss, Petrofac cannot progress, or my company cannot progress. So it has to be two-way communication. When I agree with him, my boss has to agree that he will also be tracked. That's a good amount of communication we will have with my boss. That's a friendly communication, friendly tie-up. He cannot be a king, I cannot be a follower. I cannot be a king, he cannot be a follower. It's a friendly nature, then only things will be progressing. So once I agree with my Tracomi with me, I will also recommend him to be tracked. I also recommend my subordinates to be tracked. So the whole department can be tracked. So we will get more orders. I'm from the estimation side. We'll get more orders like that. That's the core value of it. That's all from my side. Over to you.
Thank you.
But I have some other points also. I will talk you later.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Who is the next taker? We have 3 more questions. I don't know the timing. However, who is the next person now?
I suggest our guest Kipul.
Who is that?
Kipul Shah.
Yeah,
Kapil, please come on.
Yes.
yeah, I'm there.
Which question, Toastmaster? I didn't get that name properly. Sorry.
This is Kapil Shah.
Kapil. Okay. Toastmaster guest Kapil. Could you please tell me which is your favorite number? I will go to that question.
Let's take 1.
Number 1. Wow. Let's go to number 1. Again, your spouse wants to install Tracomi in your mobile. You agree to do that. Why? Toastmaster Kapil, your spouse wants to install Tracomi in your mobile. You agree to do that. Why?
Good morning, everyone. I'll take this question that my spouse wants to install the tachometer on my mobile and she wants to track me. I can allow her. I mean, as long as I believe that if I'm not doing something which is going to hurt her, and if if I'm doing everything right, I don't mind doing that also. So I mean, I can allow her. I mean, let her have the satisfaction. Let her have the confidence that whatever I'm doing or wherever I'm visiting or wherever I'm going, it's all it's all. I mean, there is nothing wrong in that, and I mean, with that, if she's gaining the confidence that I'm the right person and I'm not doing anything wrong, then let her be. I mean, so yeah, so that's it.
Okay, thank you. How about the timings now? Can someone tell? We have a couple of questions more.
We can take 1 more speaker.
Oh, okay, very good.
Jacob, can we invite Hashim? We want to hear from him.
Yes. Can we have Hashim on stage? Hashim, are you there?
Yes, Jacob, I'm here.
Yeah, you are left with 5 and 6. And which one do you go for?
Let's go with 5.
You will go with 5.
I hope all the spouse and boss questions are done.
No, it is all. Okay, are you in favor of Tracomi software? If yes, why? If no, why? Hashim, are you in favor of Tracomi software? If yes, why? And if no, why?
Okay, I am definitely in favor of Tracomi software. I think it's a good software that enables the people who you deem necessary to actually track your whereabouts at any point of time. This would be very helpful in case of emergencies or any accidents you get into, any trouble you get into. But I think in day-to-day life also, like many of our colleagues today have spoken, it is important for the family to have a whiff of where exactly you are. As far as I'm concerned, I have absolutely no difficulty in or no hesitation in having Tracomi installed and have my spouse tracking it at 24 hours a day. I've had this before also. My mom used to track my whereabouts using the various social media. I had absolutely no difficulty whatsoever. The reason was I had 2 mobiles. One mobile would always be in my car. I would park my car in front of the mosque, in front of the library, in front of other good places, and then I would take a taxi and go wherever I wanted to go with my other mobile. So I had absolutely no difficulty in anybody tracking my whereabouts 24 hours a day. So I think in life, you should not have any hesitancy in revealing where you are or your whereabouts. There are pros, there are cons. It's about finding that right balance. And like any software, there's always a workaround. So you have to find the cheat codes and you have to install that workaround and those patches to have that software working perfectly. That's it. Back to Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was an interesting one. By this, I think our time has already over. Even though I have one more questions. Actually, see, this is we were looking for speaking for 2 minutes in a funny way. That is what many of you have already done. It is not really from. It should not be really from your life. It is just an imaginative scenario. That is what I am saying. Maybe I have actually looking for someone was saying, okay, when your spouse wanted to install it, you say that, oh, you look so beautiful today, and doing some flattery and deviating it without installing, and you go with something. So some type of imaginations we can bring in. And basically, this was totally an interesting time. Thank you very much for the time. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Satish, can you tell us about timing, please?
Yes, all the 5 speakers, leaving alone Shanmugam Kannan, all the other 5 speakers, they have met the required minimum timeline and they are eligible for voting. I will share the voting link soon in the chat box.
Also, sorry, this is Kannan. This is new to me actually. I don't know how
No
it's
worries,
going
no.
on.
No, I mean, see, this place is a place of positiveness. Okay, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
You are welcome to join our club.
Because you are recording this one, so it is a Petrofac Toastmaster Club. So
No worries, no worries. Don't think like that. Don't worry.
Yeah, we will edit it. We will cut it out. Don't worry. So next time you can prepare more income.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Jacob John and Toastmaster Satish. Here we found like how our members, they are innovative to come up with such an innovative thought. Like this Tracheotomy idea, it didn't came to anybody, but our member, Toastmaster Jacob John, he came up with such an innovative idea and a table topic. Now we will serve you the final dish of our today's menu, and that dish is evaluation. To evaluate, our first speaker be a morning person. We have a banker, a member in which bank you can put your money and be safe. From HSBC Toastmaster, he loves 2 software he uses extensively, Photoscape and Photoscape X. Please join me. Welcome, Club Coach DTM Michael to evaluate Toastmaster Nakul's speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. So I'm going to kick right into it because I got a lot to share. So I'm going to be evaluating your speech, Nakul, in 3 areas. Areas that you displayed mastery, areas and techniques that you can adopt for the future, and areas that you can stretch yourself. So first of all, you kicked off with a hearty welcome. There was a multiple usage of analogies, adjectives, poetry, and quotes. And I must have lost my R somewhere, because when you started to explain that waking up is actually with the sun, I needed to lower my hand in embarrassment. And you posed a very deep question. Are we really awake? Because there's many levels of being awake. Maybe we think we are, but maybe we're actually lying in some tank of water, just like in the movie The Matrix. The session was extremely interactive. You did fantastically well in partitioning the audience, congratulating those who held their hands high and appealed to those who were affable at being morning people. Your appeal was so strong, it almost was hard-pressed, like for a sale. In other words, you said, how can you romanticize if you're not waking up early in the morning? Techniques that you can adopt for the future. Your speech was 5 to 7 minutes, and you had so much packed into your speech. You could have streamlined it a little bit by choosing 1 or 2 examples or briefly listing benefits here and there. But these ideas and benefits could have been weaved into a logical grouping. You could have given an outline in the beginning so that at the end you could have summarized. You could have maybe used 2 stories, the one from 1999 when you were in 10th grade and the one from 2015 when you were buying your first card, and then draw upon the other themes and benefits as you related to that. In other words, you could have personalized the experience a little bit more. areas in which to stretch yourself. So in summation, I know this is about a speech and not an evaluation, but I'm going to say what DTM Hashim says. Practice, practice, practice. On an organization, the journey of the story, the summation, and ultimately the timing. You know, in HSBC Toastmasters, normally we have meetings on a Sunday at 5 p.m. I book 1 hour of meetings for myself. And within that time, you can get a good couple of 5 to 7 minute speeches practiced. And you write down your timing after each speech so that you can either assess whether you need to pace yourself or maybe reduce your content. But I'm sure that you are, being a morning person, that you're going to grab at this opportunity at coming out of this evaluation, and I'm sure that you're going to make even better speech in the pathways of being a great persuader. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks.
Now, to evaluate Madam Toastmaster Sunita's speech. Thank you. We have a member who first innovated at Petrofac remote commissioning procedure. When we were hit by a COVID, he was the first project engineer to come up with an innovative idea to make commissioning happen, sitting in Sharjah and happening in Kuwait. He is passionate about software, and this one software which he is recently using extensively, Rudy Artificial Intelligence, which helps in EPC job to put order quickly and effectively. Dedicated member of the club, please join me. Welcome Toastmaster Mohammadi to evaluate Toastmaster Sunita. Thank you. Toastmaster Mohammadi.
You are muted.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Hemant, for the lovely introduction. We have found a hidden gems in our Petrofac Toastmaster Club, which we had to motivate. I remember a few weeks back when she came into limelight by giving us a feedback as a guest. Madam Toastmaster Sunita, I believe everybody is charmed by his beautiful smile, and that is the main attention when we speak with the audience. She always connects you with her beautiful eye movement and the smile going around, which is rarely seen in most of the Toastmasters, particularly me also. I lack it. I get subdued by the tension, what's happening, even though being the Toastmasters for the long time. She started with an opening quote, and the evolution today was in sync with the ideas which I have it, that if you find a smile in somebody else's mind, or you are able to generate a thank you or gratitude towards somebody else, the smile which you see in that person's eyes gets reflected in yours. And you may not get monetary benefited by this, but the word of a thank you, gratitude, it makes your day. Imagine a worker working in a field and you give him a water bottle. He will be too obliged that in the hot scorching sun, nobody thought of giving him a water. It doesn't cost you something. And Sunita was excellent in trying to do this. Her hand movements were in sync with what she was trying to tell when she was telling about the coffee maker. You see that is we go to hi-fi coffee shops and everything, but we never tell them that your coffee was excellent. She took a perfect example, and that was a motivation for that low paying job also. And in this pandemic, we have found that only the low paying jobs have created smiles in our faces. Delivery boys, cooking, car washes, and all these things. Not our bosses or we have been traveling or something. So Sunita was an example who has set this and created a integration in all of us. She quoted 3 examples: personal, self, and environment, which affects you and creates an atmosphere, creating a thank you to our people. And she ended the thing with a beautiful poem, which was very simple but appealing to everybody. I would request her to have more practice and with the standing ovation and everything, she can do it much better. Over to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much.
Now we will have our silent role player informing about what they discovered in the meeting. So before that, may I request timer to tell the timing about evaluation?
Yes, thank you, Hemant. Both the evaluators, Toastmaster Michael Smith and Toastmaster Mohammadi Barmal, both are within that set timeline, and they both are eligible for the voting. I will share the voting link very soon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satish. Now we will be having a grammarian and AHA counter report. We request club coach DTM Deepa to share grammarian and AHA counter report.
Good morning and thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Edgar Allan Poe once said, "A man's grammar is like Caesar's wife. Should not be only pure, but above suspicion of impurity." So today we had a lot of good usages through the meeting. Custodian of time, fall in love with numbers. For me, it's a little difficult, but yes, it was there. Evaluate the health of the meeting, ready to serve the first course, repertoire of tools. Prevention is better than fixing. Get through the journey called life. And Toastmaster Shiny being compared to Mount Everest. You are here to create a star. So these were some lovely usages that I saw. And thank you, DTM Hashim, for refraining from using evaluation as a feedback of champions. I hate it. I've heard it ad nauseum and I hate it. Thank you so much. There was also a usage of unusual metaphor, organic fertilizer. There were some repetitive words like and you know, which were used. Let's try and refrain from using these. Some of the recommendations I have for you: in the Indian languages, as in some European languages, we put the auxiliary verb at the end of the sentence. So for example, when we say how are you in English, in Hindi we say aap kaise ho, which literally translates to you are how. So sometimes it affects the way we speak English. Therefore, it is imperative for all of us to try and think in English, not in our native languages, especially because we are trying to become better communicators in the Queen's language. For example, there were some usages which echoed this, and also the use of articles. In Hindi, we do not have the use of articles like a and the. So sometimes we tend to make this mistake. For example, research by the Harvard University, which is a definitive article, the, in front of a noun, so a pronoun. So let us try and avoid that. We should say research by Harvard University. Romanticizing with the morning, we can say romanticizing with morning. When the noun is plural, it is always followed by is or are as a linking verbs to be. So we can say there are 16 clubs and not there is 16 clubs. Open a lot of doors. So you can say it opens a lot of doors. What are the benefits of Toastmasters and not what is the benefit of Toastmasters? So the is and are usage is very important in these contexts. When I was growing up, our English teacher told us, put the donkey at the back, which means when it refers to I, myself, it will always come after anybody else. So not mean to insult anybody, but this is a lesson I learned. So when you say give me confirmation, it would be better to say confirm it to me later. And one of the most common mistakes that we make is using, in terms of subject-verb agreement, we always follow one of the with a plural. We do not say one of the player, we will say one of the players, one of the champions and not one of the champion, and every one of you is and not every one of you are. So this is a subject-verb agreement that we need to understand. In terms of pronunciation, let us practice our fricative words, as in we say sh instead of sir. For example, when we say share, let us say share and not share. So these are the things that we need to work on and enunciate a lot of our words. And please, grammar is the only place where you can be more than perfect. So let us get there one step at a time. And if you want to really improve, please invite DTM Hashim for a meal. Over to you.
Thank you, our favorite coach DTM Deepa, for detailed evaluation, which will help our members to do better. Now we have word master, Toastmaster Kudus. Request to inform how many times today we had use of word of favor.
Good morning, Toastmasters of the day and fellow Toastmasters. Actually, the word affable. Our colleagues has used altogether three times, which I try to note it down. One is affable colleagues by Toastmaster Sunita Julis, and Toastmaster Satish used very well this word. And while putting evaluation, Toastmaster Michael used the word affailing morning. This affailing. So it's basically three times we have used this word today's meeting. Thank you.
Toastmaster, thank you, Toastmaster Kudus. Now, as we end our meeting, before that, we have our Mount Everest from District 105, not DTM, Toastmaster Saini as a general evaluator. May I request Toastmaster Saini to inform about evaluation.
Good afternoon, Petrofac. Well, I am all of 5 feet, I believe. So to be called the Mount Everest at a meeting is something quite new for me, and I like it quite a bit. So thank you for that, Toastmaster Hemant. Thank you for having me here as a general evaluator. I've always been in awe of Petrofac Toastmasters Club because you've had a very solid presence in the division. You've had division leaders that I admire quite a bit. Fahim, you've got excellent speakers like Summer, and to be here and do the general evaluation is quite something for me. So thank you for the opportunity. It's Toastmaster Satish Devan who approached me to do the general evaluation role. And I have to say he impressed me very much. He came to me on the 3rd of July. He invited me. On the 7th, I got the agenda. On the 8th, he actually set up a test run, which was very helpful because I don't use Teams. I don't think many people in the Toastmasters community use Teams as a medium for the meeting. So he actually took some time to do a test run for me, and I was super impressed. And I was thinking, God, if everybody does so much of preparation for their meetings, that's, that it's really going to change the levels that we have in Toastmasters. Then I got this email from Sunita, the VPPR, with the detailed agenda, the poster of the meeting, how to get to the meeting in a very nice manner. And, when we have Zoom, there's a whole huge message, and then you have to actually go and search for the link or the password and go on. But Teams, you just have to do one click and it immediately takes you into the browser and you are in the meeting. And I was already prepped for it. So the ease to come into this meeting, the path to come into this meeting was literally a red carpet strewn with rose petals. There was so much of enthusiasm, there was so much of preparation and planning, and I have to thank the XCOM for that. You've done a wonderful job. And right at the very first meeting of the year, it sends out a very positive message to the rest of us here. It's something that we should be emulating in other clubs as well. The Sergeant at Arms address, he came on stage, he delivered a beautiful address, and he contacted, he called the president. One thing, the agenda shows a Madam Toastmaster doing the Surgeon at Arms address, and I'm sure I didn't catch the name of the Surgeon at Arms because I'm still figuring out how to do that on this team software. But it was definitely not a Madam Toastmaster who did the address. So a correction on the agenda would have been excellent, would have been something that you should be taking care of. The president came on, a new president, Mr. Mohammad Guzam, he came on, he did his presidential address. There was a little bit of nervousness that is apparent, but then I will not go into that because it's probably his first official address. One thing that I liked very much in the presidential address that we don't see elsewhere is the president showed all the typical pathways, slides, and then at the end of it, he asked the members to contact the VP Education right at the beginning of the year to chart their plan for the coming year. Maybe it's because it's Petrofac Toastmasters Club and you have the corporate setup there. Right at the beginning of the year, you're asking your members to chart a plan for their educational progress with Toastmasters. That is something that's very beautiful, and that's something that I'll be taking away with me when I go from here. Toastmaster Hemant, his theme of software without limits. This theme he introduced a lot of software, SketchUp, Draw.io, GeoGebra, a lot of these projects, a lot of these softwares, which had me alternating between happiness that I'm not an engineer and feeling a lot of awe and respect for all those poor souls out there who are engineering, building those bridges, building those pipelines and everything. I'm glad I'm not an engineer, and the value that you've added to this meeting by bringing in such a theme is because it's a corporate setup, and in a corporate setup, I always think give the audience what they need. I am probably in the company of a lot of engineers who are doing, who are building a Petrofac, and bringing in such a theme is helpful. It adds value to the club and to the members. So kudos to you for selecting such a theme. And I would normally not hear of something like this or be acquainted with it, but now even I can tell people SketchUp is a good tool, Draw.io is good. So, these are like arsenal, these are like weapons in my arsenal. Thank you for that. Toastmaster, the word of the day. The word of the day was affable. And I personally thought that was a wonderful choice because it's a word that's easy to use. Nowadays, people who come in with word of the day, they choose the most complicated words that nobody can use. They don't really understand what is the whole purpose. But Toastmaster Kudus Mohammed, you brought in Kudus Ahmed, you brought in such a good word. I was a little disappointed to see that only 3 people used the word during the course of the meeting, but an affable gentleman bringing in a beautiful word for today's meeting, that's something that was really good. I just wish the technical glitch had not occurred and that you were able to show the screens well. You compensated by putting the comments on the chat box, but what I would suggest is do the testing beforehand so that you know that the software works well. Otherwise, ensure that whoever is running the meeting has a copy of the files so that they can play the document if in case you are not able to do it. Adjectives are my thing, and I heard a lot of them today. The Google of Toastmasters, organic fertilizer. I've heard many different introductions for DTM Hashim over the years. Organic fertilizer is something really new, and he has really taken it to another level by saying, I've never heard myself compared to that. But then I myself was compared to Mount Everest. So Toastmaster Hemant Gaur has a way with words, and normally people won't get away with these words, but you have a way with words and you're so affable that people are like, okay, Hemant is saying it, so it's okay. The education session. Now coming to the education session part of the meeting. I have heard DTM Hashim on many stages. We can't help but hearing him on many stages. He's a champion in table topics, in international speech, in evaluation, and in humor speech. But if you ask me which is his favorite role or which is the role that I like to see him the most, it's evaluation. You are a champion evaluator. Everything else I feel comes secondary. Because when you do evaluations, I've had a chance to see him a couple of weeks ago at my home club. He did a beautiful job. Actually, the speaker, I have to go into a little bit of back history on this. The speaker was the champion from India, the D92 international champion. Wanted an evaluation from a speaker at our club, and I asked Hashim whether he'd do it because he has both the perspectives of being the international speaker as well as the evaluation champion for District 105. He was so good that speaker from India asked me, has been hounding us for a recording of the evaluation, and he's been saying, I have gone all over to many different districts, but nobody has helped me so much. So that's the caliber of DTM Hashim. And he has delivered his entire education session on evaluation in such a beautiful manner. Just the things that we need, just the points that we are seeking when we do evaluations. Observation, the power of observation, how does it help in evaluation? How you need to, we hear these generic comments, your body language was not great, your vocal variety was missing, but how to pinpoint things and how to be helpful to the speaker. One of the best usages that I heard him here say today is, you're not a star, you are here to create a star, which is so true. And which is so relevant. We are not here to outshine, we are here to create stars and build confidence in others. That is one of the fundamental functions of evaluation. And thanks for bringing that into the limelight once again. You had some beautiful usages as well. I'm not in awe of the sandwich technique. Shawarma is my favorite food. Sugar coating works very well on donuts, but not on speakers. So yes, it was laden with humor as well, and the evaluation session went on very well. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and there was lots of learning. We had two speakers take the stage today. Both of them, I thoroughly enjoyed the speeches. I am not somebody who wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning. So Toastmaster Nakul Gupta, your entire speech about the importance of the early morning hour and how you need to capitalize on it. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech, but timing is something that you really need to watch out on. 7 minutes, 55 seconds, I think you took, and that is a little bit too much for your particular speech category. Try to limit yourself to that 7 minutes if possible. Toastmaster, the second speaker who spoke about thankfulness and gratitude, Toastmaster Sunita Julius. Beautiful subject, but then again, you left us wanting more. You left us wanting more from the speech. So again, timing is a problem. I wish you would have qualified for the appropriate time on that particular speech. Evaluations, again, I don't know whether they were influenced by Hashim or whatever, but beautiful evaluations. You gave the speakers exactly what they were looking for. Toastmaster Jacob John and his table topic speech. How much would you let someone else have a control on your life? I am sure many of those speakers had their wives sitting in the background, especially DTM Hashim. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so enthusiastic about getting your wife to install a spyware into your phone. But yes, your table topics were really good, and you did encourage people to speak out. So that is something good. The success of a table topics master depends on how frankly or how eloquent the speakers are. So on that note, you brought in some very entertaining topics, Toastmaster Jacob John, but then with a senior qualified Toastmaster like you, what else can we expect? The grammarian Deepa, I have met her on various stages. I have met her at a home club, and I know she does an excellent job, goes cover to cover with the grammarians report and the accounter report. So it was a comprehensive report, and it adds value to the speakers as well. The word master, like I said, 3 times, but not because the word itself has got any problems, probably because we are getting used to it, and many people were not able to link it to their speeches so easily. Good job on the whole Petrofac Toastmasters Club. It's been a pleasure to come in here to attend the session. And I see that at light, the timer is doing an excellent job as usual. Thank you, Satish. And I wish the club all the best for this future meetings. Toastmaster Hemant, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Saini. Members, Another Toastmaster Club is one of the biggest, is only the biggest club in District 105. And they have sent champions at the district level. So we are thankful to Toastmaster Haleem and Madam Toastmaster Saini to join our club meeting. Now we want to listen our Toastmaster Haleem, like which tools he is using in recent time or day to day, which will be useful for us. May I request Toastmaster Haleem to unmute and share your tools which you use and you want to share with us?
Yes, good morning everyone. Actually, there is a lot of background noise, so I will limit my speech. Actually, the tool which I find very helpful is I am using Evernote. Evernote, if you use for, if you are a person who likes to keep a diary, then Evernote is a very good app which you would like to install on your phone, and it will make your life easier and better. Thank you so much. I will limit my speech because there's a lot of background noise, but it was my pleasure to attend the meeting today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Hussain, for sharing this amazing tool for us. And now we have Toastmaster Sindhu, Area 47 Director. We request to unmute and share tools which she finds useful in day-to-day life and maybe useful to us. Area Director 47, Toastmaster Sindhu Suresh.
Good morning, Toastmaster Hemant, and a special good morning greetings to all over here. I would first like to thank the president of this club, Petrofac Club, Toastmaster Satish, for inviting me to be a part of it. And also I would like to say the same thing what was said by our Toastmaster Shiny, that he was just following me up and the agenda, everything was given, I think 4 to 5 days in advance, and he was just making sure that I attend this meeting. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Satish. And this is something new that I haven't seen this segment in any of the Toastmasters meeting, where I have to share a tool which I find it interesting. A tool in the sense, are you talking about any app or something like that? I didn't get it clear.
You can share any app or a software. Yes. Yeah, you can tell any application or a mobile or a website which you find useful, and it will be useful to members and guests.
Okay, fine. Actually, as a teacher, I'm using some of the tools for teaching purposes. I think that one which I loved is Kahoot and other things which I think most of them are using here. And not only that, nowadays, as a math teacher, I used GeoGebra. So if you are familiar with that, it would be helpful for your children. Not if you're not a teacher, if you're not into that profession. I know that most of them are associated with Petrofac. So this will be helping you a lot in teaching your children math. Actually, now we don't have the presence of teacher in our house. So if you're going for online education, this app will be helping you a lot. So try to use this application in case if you are having any difficulty in finding out what it is and all. Google, just get to explore more on that, and you will be having a wonderful classes. You can present a wonderful classes on math for your children. That's all, Toastmaster Hemant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Sindhu, for giving us such an important software. Now, as we come close to the meeting end, I request our innovative club president who comes up with new tools every time. Please join me. Welcome, energetic, enthusiastic, and efficient club president, Toastmaster Mohana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. I'll start about taking the group photo. So I appreciate that if everyone, if possible, if you have some possible, you can switch on your group photo and we can take a photo for us so we can, for our own memories. It's there for the meeting. So if everyone who can, of course, if you can't, it's okay. So I'll wait 1 or 2 minutes. And I appreciate if Sunita can take from her mobile, take a photo for us. Thank you very much. And I would like to announce who's the.
I think I need to go into gallery view, right? Because I think I have you.
It's already in the gallery, right?
Yeah, it is on gallery. I just see a few people who have their cameras on. Is it just 3 of them? Deepa, Hemant, and Sindhu.
Okay, then I'll take it myself.
Okay.
1 second. Let me take it myself. We have larger number, so let me choose a bigger.
Because the large gallery preview is grayed out.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Now I would like to announce the winners. Today, speakers, there was no winners, unfortunately. Maybe next meeting we'll have. For the best evaluator today, we'd like to announce our coach, Toastmaster Michael, who win today's the best evaluator, and this is his trophy, and with lots of necklace around to fit his neck. Congratulations to our coach. And I would like to announce the best tail topics. The person who got everyone hearts today, he's a Toastmaster Kabil Shah. So great closing for Toastmaster Keppel, and he won the best guest of today.
Thank you.
And I would like to make an announcement that since he went today for the best guest today, if he would like to join this month in July, he can attend 1 or 2 meetings, then he will get 2-month free membership. Okay, all the guests you can attend as much as you would like. There's no harm to attend as much as a guest. You're always welcome. I encourage everyone in the clubs to keep attending, guests or members, because this is why we are in Toastmaster Club. It is okay for us to do mistakes here. It's okay for us to try and error to learn why we are in Toastmaster clubs, but it's not okay when you want to convince your manager with an increment, with the positions, or if you want to get a new jobs, you are an interview. So we are learning from here. Sometimes you meet your boss of the company in corporate, you meet him maybe once or twice a year, and you need to give the best impressions in 2 minutes left. You imagine yourself, you are on the left for 1 minute with your manager. What impression you would like to give him if you give him one question? So all these things in your mind, and to be honest, this is all about relationship, how much you can market yourself. You have to learn how to market yourself. Believe me, no one will give you a leadership role if you cannot speak, if you cannot lead a team in collaborations. Okay, so that's why we are here and we'll continue to be here. So few announcements is there. It's all Petrofac leaders, they can continue in the club because we are now, even they can take your leadership roles. We have Toastmaster Mohammadi. Last week, he could access fully the action list and everything. He can be like any of us. So that's why we keep all those members. So you spend lots of time on work in the past, is good. But you have to spend more time on developing yourself. This is what you're going to take, even if you leave Petrofac. So this is what will remain with you. I would like to thank the guests from the other clubs who attended here. And I encourage everyone, please put in your calendar at least one visit to our brothers and partner clubs. All these clubs, they have always different experience. Okay, we are corporate, we're global, we're diverse club and all. But when you go to some social clubs, localized clubs, you get different experience. So they are from Nahda Toastmasters, they are from Schoolers Toastmasters. You always, if you want to attend, you just give your name to me or Satich, and we'll make sure that you'll be welcome there as special guest. If you have a kids or if you have this, you encourage them to go to gavel clubs. That will build them a lot of confidence and ability to speak. Finally, I want to close the meetings and consider the meeting has been adjourned. Thanks for your patience till the end of the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Toastmaster Sindhu Madam,
Thank you.
Toastmaster Jacob, Toastmaster Hussain for joining us today, for
Thank
accepting
you.
the invite and joining us today. We will love to participate in your club meetings as well. Whenever there are meetings, just message us. We will share it to our team. We can exchange the role players. That also we can do. For sure, we can manage to.
Thank you all. See you. Have a nice day, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
nice rest of the
Shani
weekend.
ma'am, you're
Bye.
muted, I think. I think you're talking, you're muted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Shani ma'am, you were muted, you were saying something.
Satish, we have a meeting today evening. I'd like to invite everybody from your club. Please do feel free to join us. I'll send you the invite. Please take it from him. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Enjoy being here.
Yeah, Satish, actually, I have something to, actually, the thing is, I requested, actually, I am looking for a Gavels club in Chennai. One of the colleague has asked, so if you can just.
Sure, I will check on the details.
Yeah, it's a area which is in Chennai. I think you must be conversant with. It's Moga PR.
Mugappayar, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Mugappayar, I am looking for a Gavels club. So if you can just search and tell me somebody who can guide me. Thanks, Satish. Thanks.
Okay, all. Thank you. Also roll out the roster for the upcoming year. I will sit with Mohanad and other XCOM. I will prepare the roster and I will roll it out. Come and grab the opportunity, speaker roles, TMOD roles as you can. Right? Okay, it was a great meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
What you do, Satish, you can with you, or you can take the help of Mohammed. You can create a log for all the meetings, and none from next meeting because there'll not be time to fill it. So we'll give them 2 weeks to fill it, and then from meeting 257, people expect to go and log their 1 year ahead educational plan and leadership plan. What rules they would like to take before they to master all the rules.
Sure, we'll do that. Yes.
Because it's not fair. Like someone is keep doing the same rule to the end, right? You need to get that diversity.
Yeah, there should be a cycle of rules for everybody.
And keep practicing because each rules will add something to him, whether time management, if he's doing timer or something. So it'll give you lots of dimensions. But if you keep doing timer, then it'll not be, his growth will not go that.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. Okay, all. Thank you.
Great weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well done.